God's plan and purpose for his children are to have his children joined together to multiply and replenish the earth. This is why God said in Genesis chapter 2 verse 24, "Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife. They shall become one flesh." Nevertheless, God has given every individual the free will to choose whosoever he or she desires to be with, as long as that individual is in line with the will and purpose of God for your life. This is why it is so important to be sensitive to the voice of God when we are ready to be in a relationship and in choosing the right spouse or partner that fits God's will and purpose for your life. The moment you are ready to be in a relationship, there are so many signs that God would show you. Among these signs are, number 1, they love God. One major sign that you see in your dream about whom you are about to marry is that God, and they are willing to follow all his principles and commandments. This should be the most important criteria in choosing whom to be in a relationship with. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, Proverbs chapter 9 verse 10. That individual must be God-fearing and must love the Lord with all his or her mind and soul and body. It is only when your spouse loves God that he or she can love you in return. The love that you truly desire can only be gotten from loving God. A spouse that loves God is going to obey God's instructions and will find it easier to love you. So don't ever make a mistake in falling for someone who does not have the real love of God in their heart. So many Christians today fall in love with unbelievers to try to change their beliefs about God. Yes, it is very possible to do that. However, you must go for the right choice because God's word tells us not to be unequally yoked with unbelievers. This is why you should not even consider choosing someone who is not right for you in that relationship, that is someone who is an unbeliever, except God gives you such instruction from above. So your spouse must be God-fearing, obedient, strong lover. Number 2, they must be faithful and committed. One major attribute to watch out for in a spouse to be is that he or she must be committed and faithful to you. Commitment involves being devoted to a spouse or a partner and being ready to give your all to make the relationship or marriage work effectively. If your intended partner is not ready to be involved in being committed to you and your needs, then he or she is not the right choice for you. Commitment entails sacrifice. The moment your spouse is not ready to give his or her 100% to you in a relationship and vice versa, then that relationship cannot work and it will hit the rock. Commitment is needed when the physical beauty and allure of your spouse fades away. Love and passion are what lead you to a relationship. However, commitment is what is needed to keep the relationship alive, especially when that relationship has passed through the test of time. It is also necessary that your partner is ready to be loyal and faithful to you in that relationship. It is easy for a partner to remain loyal to you, God. As long as that spouse truly loves and fears God, then he or she would have no issues in being faithful and committed to the relationship. Faithfulness requires being immersed in making your partner happy. The more faithful your partner is to you, the more you and that partner would live healthier and happier together, according to the will of God for your lives. Number 3, they love and cherish you. Love, requirement that should be noted in knowing who your future partner is. Unlike most schools of thought which teach about love at first sight, love is not something that happens instantly. In fact, that is lust. Love takes time to build, and it hinges mostly on friendship, a kind of chemistry between two people. The moment that your partner truly loves you, he or she is willing to go out of his way or her way to make you happy. Love is formed as a result of closeness and attraction between you and your spouse. True love requires devotion and care. A person who loves you is willing to go all out in caring for your needs and desires. There is, of course, sexual attraction between you both, but that only comes secondary to what about that spouse or partner. The Bible defines in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 4 to 8, love is patient, Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always perseveres. As long as your partner is ready to love and cherish you, then he or she is the right one for you. Love is very important in making the relationship strong and healthy. For that love in that relationship to wax strong, then it needs the love of God. When you both love God, it's then easy to love one another unconditionally. Number 4, they are trustworthy and responsible. Your partner-to-be must be someone you trust and show that he or she is responsible enough to be in that relationship. Trust takes time to build. It is a very important characteristic to make that marriage or relationship strong. Trust is likened to be the pillar of the relationship. Without it, the relationship is going to cease to function. Trust is a two-way thing between you and your spouse. Trust shows you can rely on and be sure that your spouse is loyal to you no matter the circumstances or trials you pass through. Trust in your partner assures you that during the hard times in a relationship, you can be sure to rely on that spouse or partner. One way to know if your spouse is trustworthy is that he or she is honest and is not afraid of telling you the truth, no matter how uncomfortable or rude it might sound. Another sign is that he or she is willing to open up his or her emotions and wants to you. They are also committed to being with you during the good and trying period of the relationship. One major attribute of a trustworthy spouse is that they show a sense of responsibility towards you and your needs. This means they are ready to be financially, materially, emotionally, and physically available for you and to meet your every want and need. So you must choose a trustworthy and a responsible partner. Number 5, they spur you in achieving your goals and purpose. A good spouse or a partner will help you in improving yourself in every area necessary for your growth. It could be spiritually, emotionally, or even financially. Most importantly, the partner is ready to help you achieve your goals and purpose as long as the purpose is according to the will and purpose of God concerning your life. For a spouse to do this, it shows the spouse is ready to sacrifice his or her desires just to make the relationship work. The spouse is ready to give his or her all in ensuring all the goals you both set as a couple comes to reality. Any spouse that is ready to spur you into achieving and fulfilling God's will and purpose for your life is someone you should hold on to dearly. It shows you both have a deep connection between yourselves and both of you are willing to make things work out. Even when you fail, they're always standing by you and cheering you during difficult periods. They have the determination to be with you and make you achieve your goals. Number 6, they are open to communication and correction. One major thing to look out for in your intended partner is that they must be open to communication and correction. A spouse that feels he or she is above correction is not ready for a relationship. Fights and arguments are sure to come up in the course of the relationship. However, how you and your spouse settles issues between yourselves determines how successful your relationship will be. So your spouse must be able to talk about their feelings and hurt without bottling them up, and vice versa. They must also be willing to accept corrections and be ready to improve in any area of their shortcomings. When there are issues in the relationship, you must both be ready to talk about things. This is why communication is key in any relationship or marriage. It's a very important attribute that every relationship must have. Poor or no communication is very disastrous to the marriage. This is because both partners begin to hold grudges and this bottles up within them until they become bitter, which leads to hatred, and this spells doom for the relationship. This is why another important factor to have in a relationship is that you and your partner must learn to forgive one another even when you're not at fault. You not only forgive, but let that spouse know how he or she has made you hurt. This should be done with love and not by sounding rude or disrespectful. A relationship that is open to communication and correction is going to be a healthy and a happy one.